नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तविंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे। अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय। नामचार्य दास ठाकुर जी की जय। श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you all to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call for this mid-morning session. Thank you all for joining. This is Shivani from Ashwin, Virginia. Let us move to the next part of the session. Today's class will be given by Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji on Sri Caitanya Bhagavata-Madhya Khanda, verses 28.46 to verse 57. May I know who have joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas, and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Kaiti Sundari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Garanga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
11 बजते तो हमारी और की देखते हैं।
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Garanga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining regularly on regular basis. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga, and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashmati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago, Illinois.
Hare Krishna, Yashamati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Garanga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and giving a beautiful association. All glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from College Station, Texas.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Garanga ki jai. Thank you so much for joining and all glories to your services, Mataji. Welcome to the call. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Once again, I welcome you to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I would like to share Srila Prabhupadaji's quote before I hand over the call to Mataji. You are mine, and I am Krishna's. Therefore, you are also Krishna's. Letter to Garg Muni, June 18, 1968. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Good morning, dear devotees. Today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji. Mataji will be enlightening us on Sri Chaitanya Madhya Khanda, verses 28.46 to verse 57. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Preethi Vilasini Mataji, thank you for your valuable time and association this morning. Waiting eagerly to hear from you. I hand over the call to you. Please take over. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for your warm welcoming, and thanks to whoever read the Bhagavad Gita. Sorry, I joined late. Thank you, Mataji. And we can get started with our prayers for Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat today. Ajanulambita-bhujau kanakavadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalayadakshau Vishwambharo dvijavaro yugatarmapalo Vande jagatpriyakaro karuणावतारो Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Ki Jayati 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 Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirti Tasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Pratyastasya Vishveshvamurtir Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarvapriyanam Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं कृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरम् नमामि विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Please bless me so that I might be able to speak a few relevant words. So it was time for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to take sannyas. He had decided that he would be taking sannyas. And a lot of people came to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like, for example, we have a Sridhara. Sridhar, he brought a bottle gourd, and the Lord honored that bottle gourd. And another fortunate person, he came and offered a pot of milk. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told his mother, "This is very, very nice. So please cook both of them together." And Shashi Devi immediately plunged into service, and she cooked to the great satisfaction of Nimai Pandit. And everybody could understand that Vishwambhar, the lord of Tridash, he sat down to take his dinner, but everybody knew that he was ready to take sannyas. Especially Mother Shachi Devi, she could understand. She knew that her son would depart, and she was unable to sleep, and she was weeping the entire night. So that is where we stopped in our previous session. It was a very beautiful class by His Grace Ram Giridhari Prabhu. And we saw the mood of Mother Shachi, that it is very painful, obviously, when a mother has to depart from her son. It is something that is extremely painful. Nobody can understand. And we can only speak in a few words, but unless we are in that position, we really cannot realize what that separation means. And Mother Shachi, even in that condition, all that she wanted to do was serve her son as much as she could. So she knew in her heart that her son is going to depart. And because of that, she couldn't sleep. It's natural, right? So she couldn't sleep, and she kept awake, and she was continuously weeping. So, but our Lord, he had slept, and he was ready to to leave home the next day. So let's see what happened the next day, early morning during Brahma Muhurta. दंडचारी रात्रियाचे ठाकुर जनियाओ थिले न चाली भरे न सगृहाणालाय. The Lord woke up for leaving in the Brahma Muhurta. He understood that the auspicious time for his departure had come by observing the passage of air through his nose. Interesting. So here, our Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, during the Brahma Muhurta, Sri Gaurasundar observed the movement of his breath through his nose and decided the auspicious time for his departure had come. So this is an interesting fact. It is something that we all see in our bodies that happen regularly. It is said that for every 48 minutes or so, you breathe out. When you keep your finger under your nostrils, you can see that you're exhaling through one particular nostril. Currently, it is the left nostril for me. So when you're keeping your finger near your nose, you can find out which nostril you're exhaling from. So the left nostril is active. Sometimes the right nostril will be active. It will change in the day every few minutes or every few hours. It keeps changing like that. But during the Brahma Muhurta, it is said that the breath will naturally flow through the Sushumna Nadi, which is the central channel, rather than going through the Chandra Nadi or the Surya Nadi. Chandra Nadi is the left and Surya Nadi is the right. So generally, air will come, that is the exhaling air comes from the Chandra Nadi or the Surya Nadi for some time in a day. Okay, so it will keep switching between the two. But then only during the Brahma Muhurta, it is said that there is a balanced flow of energy through both nostrils. Okay, inhale, exhale happens through both nostrils. And that is a state of equilibrium for the body. Because it is a state of equilibrium, the breath, that actually it's a lot to do with breath. Like the other day, we were hearing Haripashad Prabhu's class, he was here, and he was telling us about attention and affection to the holy names. So, of course, Brahma Muhurta is the chosen period, and he was talking about how to concentrate. He said, you have to do this Puraka Kumbhaka Rechaka, as per Sanatana Goswami's writings in Hari Bhakti Vilas. He was quoting that helps us to steady our mind, because when we wake up, generally, when we take our bead bags, our mind is very distracted. And we're thinking of so many things. We are thinking about what we have to do the next day and that particular day and so on. So it is very disturbed, or sometimes we are worried about who said what to me yesterday. All that these keeps ringing in our mind. So this process of pranayam pretty much stabilizes the mind. It helps us focus on the holy names. And especially during Brahma Muhurta, what is happening? The air is coming through both nostrils and it is in equilibrium. And when the air is exhaled through both nostrils and the body is in such a focused equilibrium through the prana, at that time there is heightened awareness. So the spiritual practices is generally recommended to be done at that time. So even if we are not chanting in the Brahma Muhurta, for example, Prabhuji was mentioning that if you want to stabilize the air in your body, you do a simple exercise of inhaling, holding, and exhaling. Do that a few times, and your mind will attain that equilibrium and you'll be able to concentrate. Okay. So now this is a very spiritually enriched period. And we all know the glories of Brahma Muhurta, right? So it is a very spiritually enriched period. And our Lord Gaura Sundar, he observed the movement of his breath. He could see. You don't have to see the clock or anything else. Just by the movement of breath, he was able to understand this was Brahma Muhurta time and this is very auspicious for my departure. So he was ready to depart from. So let's see what happened then. Gadadara Haridasa Hilena Jani Gadadara Balena Chai Basange Ami. Gadadhar and Haridas also woke, and Gadadhar told the Lord, I will come with you, I will accompany you. This is natural. Gadadhar Pandit, he was very attached to the Lord, and he didn't want the Lord to be bereft of his association at any point in time. It was also the order of Shachi Mata earlier that she should always take care of Nimai. So he said, no, I'm also coming with you. I'm not going to leave you alone. Prabhu bale amara nahi kakaru sanga eka advitiya se amara sarvaranga. The Lord, however, replied, I am fully independent. Of course, he is fully independent. He said, I am one without a second. Eka advitiya. He said, I am one without a second. And say amara sarvaranga. This is just my pastime. My pastime. So it is my independence. I want to go. I'm one without a second. And he said, I don't want to keep any sangha at this point in time. I don't want anyone to come with me. I want to go independently. Just leave me. Okay. So he's also pacifying Gadadhar Pandit, saying, it's just my pastime. It's okay. Don't get so panicked. It is my pastime. I will take care of myself. 49. Ai jani lena matra prabhura gamana duyare basiya rahilena tharak patakshana. When Mother Shachi realized that it was time for the Lord to depart, she came and sat in the doorway. Like the mother who is lovingly resisting her son from leaving her. She could understand it was Brahma Muhurta. Her son had woken up and her son is getting ready to leave. She could sense it immediately and she went turning to the doorway and she sat there blocking the doorway. And what did Mahaprabhu do? जननी रे धिकी प्रभु धरी थाना करा विषय कहे न बहु प्रबोधर उथारा. Seeing his mother, the Lord held her hands and solaced her in various ways. It's a very beautiful relationship between son and mother, and the son could understand that the heartbeat of his mother was going high, and he was holding on to her hands and he was trying to solace her in various ways. He said, Vistara karila tumi amara palana padilana shunilana tumara karan. What all have you done for me, my mother? You have maintained me very nicely. See, our parents, they love us so much. They will sometimes certain things that sometimes we think that our parents are our enemies. It's very unfortunate. We think that our parents are our enemies, but they have done a lot for us. They have done a lot for us. We can never ever repay our parents. They have maintained us when we were young, when we were born, when we didn't have any independence, when we didn't know how to even clean up ourselves, when we didn't know how to eat, when we were in such a helpless condition. Who took care of us? It was our Janani, our mother. As we could get up and go and use the restroom, we couldn't do anything. We were right there. We were stuck with so much love, so much love. Just because she had given birth to us, with so much love, she takes good care of us. She ensures that we are eating properly. She ensures that we are cleaned up properly. We are given a bath. We are raised when we are crying. She's pacifying us. And our father is running around just to maintain us. He's sacrificing so much just to maintain us. So he's telling, you have maintained me very nicely, my mother. You have taken such good care of me. And only because of you, I've studied and our parents, they work so hard for what? So that we can be situated comfortably and we can be given proper education. If our parents didn't desire to give us education, where would we be? Right? So he says, because of you, I have studied and I have learned so much. I've become my Pandit. You think I could become by myself? No. As a loving parent, you took such good care of me. Then what should I do? That is the question. If my parents have taken such good care of me. Apanara tila dheko nalaila suka ajana amara tumi bada aila bhoga. Without caring a bit for your personal happiness, you have increased my pleasure throughout my life. So the mother doesn't sleep when the child is there because the child is crying all night. The mother, of course, her sleep is destroyed. So many problems she's undergoing when her child is up all night, or he's crying, or he's wounded, whatever it may be. She is not even caring about her own happiness. She doesn't eat before the child has eaten. Every time the mother sits to eat, I don't know what happens. The child always cries when the mother sits to eat only. We've seen this in many households. And the mother has finished all her work and she's like, okay, finally now I can eat. The child will start crying. So Nima is remembering all this. He's telling, without caring a bit for your personal happiness. You didn't see if you ate. You didn't see if you slept. You didn't see if you're getting any happiness. And what to talk about mothers today? Everything has to be done by the lady of the house. She has to take care of the child. She has to cook. She has to drive. She has to work. She has to do everything. Right? And what happiness does she have? All the time it is babysitting. So without caring a bit for your personal happiness, you have increased my pleasure throughout my life. I think all of us have these beautiful stories to think of how our parents raised us. Sometimes we forget it very easily. And also, our children, for those who have children, our children will also be feeling the same way. Oh, my parents did so much for me, right? That gratitude should be there. So he was feeling immense gratitude. He said, without caring a bit for your personal happiness, you've increased my pleasure throughout my life. You're such a selfless person. That's why Prabhupada says the closest to love in this material world is the love between the child and the mother. The mother's selfless love. दंडे दंडे यत स्नेह करिल आमारे आमी कोटि कल्पे ओ नारी भस्सोधि भारे. The amount of affection you have showed to me at every moment is more than I can repay you millions of kalpas. The same thing Krishna said to the gopis. He said, I can never repay you. Only your service is the repayment for you. Because what can repay you? Similarly, Gaurasundar is telling the amount of affection you have shown me every moment is more than I can repay you in millions of kalpas. Kalpa after kalpa, that rina, pitra rina, will always be there. At the time of departure, Sri Gaurasundar said to his mother, apart from serving me, you have not done anything for your own happiness. Therefore, I will not be able to repay my debt to you even in millions of kalpas. The eternal Gaurasundar never leaves his eternal mother. That is why Sri Shachi Devi, who the shelter of the transcendental Vatsalya Rasa, is the shelter of Sri Gaurachandra's Vatsalya Rasa and his eternal unmanifest pastimes. She never leaves his association even for a moment. This is very beautiful. Gaurasundara is explaining to his mother that I can never repay you what you have done for me. And in the purport, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is mentioning that this Shachimata, she is the source of all the Vatsalya Rasa. And all these eternal associates, be it the gopis of Vrindavan, be it Srimati, Radharani, Yashoda Maya, or even Shachimata, or all these eternal friends of Krishna, whoever it may be, these eternal associates, they never departed from the Lord even for a minute. So whether the Lord is performing his manifest pastimes or the unmanifest pastimes, whatever the situation may be, the associates of the Lord are always with him. Because this is very interesting. During his manifest pastime, sometimes the Lord leaves Vrindavan and he goes to other places like Mathura and Dwaraka. But still, the associates of Krishna are not separated from him. Because in the unmanifest Leela, they are always seeing his pastimes. So there are two kinds of unmanifest Leela. What is manifest and unmanifest? Manifest means the pastimes that are happening when Krishna is present in this world and he is with you. That is manifest. Now, when Krishna is not with you, 5,000 years ago, Krishna was there, he performed his manifest pastimes. But then the unmanifest pastimes of Krishna is eternally happening. Where is it happening? Of course, it is happening in the spiritual world. There is no pausing in the spiritual world, right? The pastimes are continuing to happen. Now, besides the pastimes in the spiritual world, there are also pastimes that are continuously happening in Vrindavan. That is also called as unmanifest Leela. Even today, even now, even this second, there are devotees who are able to see the pastimes of Krishna in his unmanifest Leela. So you should have the spiritual eyes to witness it. Our Goswamis, our Srila Prabhupada, so many people, they have witnessed the pastimes of Sri Krishna. There are so many people even today in Radhakund and so many other parts of Vrindavan and Barsana and so many places where they literally see Krishna's pastimes. So that is called as unmanifest Leela. Now these eternal associates of the Lord, whether be it in Madhurya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, Sakhya Ras, Dasi Ras, whatever it may be with Krishna, they are so much united in Krishna that they are continuously seeing his pastimes happening in front of their eyes. The gopis were seeing the unmanifest pastimes of Krishna continuously in separation. Like that, Shachi Mata is never disunited with Gaurasundar. We should understand that. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is very emphatically mentioning here. Yes, Mahaprabhu is leaving home and he is going. But the truth is that Mahaprabhu never leaves Shachi Devi. And we all know how sometimes Shachi Devi would cook and she would offer, and Mahaprabhu would come and eat. And she would think that she forgot to fill the plate before offering. And again, she will go and fill the plate and come back. She doesn't realize that the unmanifest pastimes are happening, but still the unmanifest pastimes are happening. And it's a very, very beautiful love and separation that she feels from her son. And it is, this love and separation is so beautiful that you're so blissful, but externally it appears like as if you're in distress. The analogy is given of holding dry ice, of holding ice for a very long time. It may appear like as if it is very cold, but actually it's burning within, or eating a hot sugar candy. So these two examples are given in Bhagavata-Madhya. So when you're eating a very, very hot sugar candy, you're not able to stop eating it. It's so tasty. but at the same time it's burning your tongue. So externally it may appear like as if it's burning, but internally it is giving a lot of bliss. So Shachi is never leaving the association of Gaurasundar even for a moment. Now, our Gaurasundar, he continues to tell his mother, तुम्हारा प्रसाद से तहारा प्रतिकारा आमी पुनः जन्म जन्म ऋणी से तुम्हारा. So I have this rina. Rin means what? Rina is debt. Like we all know, in the Shastras also, at least 3 rinas are mentioned. We will go through that verse in a second. So in verse number 54, Gaurasundar is telling Mother Shachi, only by your mercy will I be relieved from my debt. Debt towards whom? Debt towards the mother. Yet I will remain indebted to you life after life. This rina is very, very hard to be removed. It is one thing that it is our Vedic texts, they talk about at least 3 debts that grihasthas have. They have multiple debts, but at least 3 debts are predominantly mentioned. One is towards the demigods, the other is towards the sages, and the third is towards the ancestors. So, how are we removing that debt that we are creating towards the demigods, sages, and ancestors? Towards the demigods, we can remove that debt by performing sacrifices to please them. For the sages, by reading the Vedic scriptures. And to the ancestors, by having children. That is the way to repay the debt that you have towards ancestors. So this is the verse directly from Srimad Bhagavatam. I'll just share that because I think my stop sharing your screen. Let's see if my screen is seen. It's not seen. Okay. Here we go. Bhagavatam verse. So this verse was spoken by the sages in Kurukshetra to Vasudev Maharaj. So Vasudev, you all know during the eclipse, solar eclipse, everybody went to Kurukshetra. The people from Dwaraka as well as from Rajabhumi, Vrindavan, and so many other places, everybody went there. And the sages were speaking with Vasudev, who's the father of Sri Krishna. They tell him, Rinais Dvijo Jato Devashi Pitranam Prabhu Yajna Dhyayana Putraisthani Anistriya Tyajan Patet. They said, my dear Prabhu, a member of the twice born classes is born with 3 kinds of debts. Those owed to the demigods, to the sages, and to the forefathers. If he leaves his body without first liquidating these debts by performing sacrifice, studying the scriptures, and begetting children, he will fall down into hellish condition. Okay, so this is the verse spoken by the sages. But then the sages tell Vasudev Maharaj that, but you, magnanimous soul, you're already free from 2 of your debts, which is those to the sages and the forefathers. Now, in this place of Kurukshetra Bhumi, you can absolve yourself of the debt of the demigods by executing Vedic sacrifices. And in this way, you will be free completely from the debt of all the 3. And you can renounce all material shelter. And he says, O Vasudev, without doubt, you must have previously worshipped Lord Hari, the master of all 3 worlds. Both you and your wife must have perfectly worshipped them with supreme devotion, since he has accepted the role of your son. So, but however, the point here is that means, does it mean that our Mahaprabhu he's going to remain indebted forever? Answer is no, because this is also clarified by Vishwanath Chakravarti by quoting another verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, solution is given. If someone has to take sannyas, like our Gaur Sundar, at this point in time, he had to take sannyas for a higher purpose. He couldn't stay at home. And this higher purpose is very valid. It is sanctioned in the Shastras as well. So to benefit the entire world, Gaurasundar, he relinquished home. 1 in a million can do that so that the greater populace can be benefited from that. So at this point in time, though Gaurasundar is mentioning that I will be a debtor forever, still in reality, he is no more a debtor. because Srimad Bhagavatam also speaks of this beautiful verse. Devarshi Bhutatman Ranam Pitrinam Na Kinkaronayam Rini Charajan Sarvatmanaya Sharanam Sharanyam Gato Mukundam Parihritya Kartam. This is for a person who has relinquished worldly duties for the sake of a higher purpose. So, what happens to such a person? O king, one who has given up all material duties and has taken full shelter, he's taking full shelter, 100%, full shelter, sharanam sharanyam, complete shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Mukunda, who offers shelter to all. Who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even his forefathers who have passed away. Since all such class of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Lord's service, no need to serve such persons separately. Again, this is not a license for us to freely say, I will give up all my duties and I will run away from home. Unless we are ready to be surrendered like Mahaprabhu, we cannot take such verses to our advantage. Okay, so let's continue. What happened after that? What did Mahaprabhu say after that? What did Shachi feel after that? So let's continue from there. This was verse number 54. So he says, I'm indebted to you life after life. But we know since he's taking sannyas and he's doing it for a higher purpose, he's definitely not indebted. 55. Shuni mata ishwarera adhina samsara swatantra hoite shakti nahika kahara. He said, please, dear mother, this entire creation is under the control of the Supreme Lord. No one has the power to be independent. He says, my dear mother, we are all not independent. Everybody is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Under the control of the Supreme Lord, things are moving in this world. What can I do? This is the desire of the Lord. And we are all functioning under the desires of the Lord. He says, Samyoga viyoga yata kare se natha tana icha bhuji bhare sakti ache khata. Who can understand the Supreme Lord's will by which living entities sometimes meet and sometimes separate? This is also actually a verse from Bhagavatam only. And this verse was again spoken by Vasudeva Maharaj again in the same place of Kurukshetra to his sister Kunti Devi. And this is an interesting verse. We'll pull it up in a minute after we read the purport. Who can understand the Supreme Lord's will by which living entities sometimes meet and sometimes separate? Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, since creation, maintenance, and annihilation are found in the material world, there is distress in separation and there is enjoyment in meeting. The people of this material world who are averse to the service of the Lord are by the will of the Supreme Lord under the control of the Lord. Those who maintain desires that conflict with the desires of the Supreme Lord while remaining averse to the Supreme Lord will eventually understand their own weakness and surrender to the Lord. People who are averse to the service of the Lord are unable to understand Krishna's energy. So there are two kinds of people. One is the surrendered, the jivas who are in sync with Krishna's desires. And the others are the ones who are forced to surrender. Though they are not in sync with Krishna's desires, at one point in time, they are forced to surrender. But everything is happening under the supreme will of the Lord. Under His supervision only, all living entities are sometimes meeting and sometimes separating. Which relationship is permanent in this world? Actually, there is no relationship in this world that remains permanent. And I wanted to quote this very beautiful verse. This was directly from the meeting of Kunti and Vasudeva. This exact verse is being spoken by Vasudeva again. Let me again screen share so you all can see the verse. This is 10, 82 and 20. So Canto 10, chapter 82, verse 20. Sri Vasudeva Vacha. Ambamaasman asuyeta deva krida karanranan Ishaya hi vashe lokaha kurute karyate athava. Sri Vasudeva said, my dear sister Kunti, please don't be angry with us, because at this point Kunti meets him and she says, oh, it seems you have forgotten us. You never kept in touch. You are very busy with your life. So she questions him like that. For that, Sri Vasudeva, he says, my dear sister, please don't be angry with us. We are only ordinary men, playthings of fate. Fate is controlling us. Indeed, whether a person acts on his own or is forced by others, is always under the Supreme Lord's control. We all meet and separate as a matter of fate. We are under the Supreme Lord's controls. Friends and family members, even children, brothers and parents, forget a dear one whom providence no longer favors. This is what Kunti said. And Vasudev, he says this, what to do? It is all fate. We are under providence. And then he explains how, harassed by Kamsa, he had to go in various directions. But then, by the grace of providence, finally, he says, I have been able to return home, my dear sister. So everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord. That is what Gaurasundar is also mentioning to Shachi Mata, that the Lord is independent. He is controlling us at this point in time. There is separation, and this union and separation, who can control? Only the Supreme Lord can control. Sometimes we lose a loved one, and it's very difficult. It is very difficult. But then we are not on control. We realize nothing is in our control. Can we hold someone's life? We can't do anything of that kind. Ultimately, everything is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So he says, whether I leave now or I leave after 10 days, you should not lament. This is the instruction that he gives to Mother Shachi. I think that is the last verse for today, if I'm not wrong. I think it's verse 57. Let me check that.
Yes, Mataji.
It is verse 57. Okay, I just thought of pulling up some thoughts and realizations about how, especially about the last two verses, that sometimes we are together, sometimes we separate. Everything is controlled by the Supreme Lord. For that, there is a very beautiful verse again from Srimad Bhagavatam, two verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, that talks about the inevitable condition of the living entities, how we come together and we separate. Two analogies are given in Srimad Bhagavatam. So again, these two analogies are very, very beautiful. And just by going through these analogies, we can understand the temporary nature of relationships. Okay. So this is again Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 5, verse number 25. This was during the meeting of Vasudev Maharaj and Nanda Maharaj. Again, I have to screen share, sorry. I don't know how to have multiple screen sharing open at the same time. So here it is. This is 10:25 and verse 10:5:25. We can open it in database if that helps. Okay, that's okay. So it says that many planks and sticks unable to stay together are carried away by the force of a river's waves. Similarly, though we are intimately related with friends and family members, we are unable to stay together because of our varied past deeds and waves of time. This is what Vasudeva was telling Nanda Maharaj when they meet. He says that yes, they were related in one sense. They were related. They were some sort of cousins, but they couldn't meet frequently. So when Vasudeva Maharaj, he meets Nanda Maharaj before the killing of Putana at that point in time, he tells this, a beautiful analogy. So when you see a river, there could be many sticks, planks, and leaves and all of that. By the force of the movement of the waves of the river, sometimes these all come together, sometimes they get separated. So like that, our relationships in the world are also very temporary. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Vasudeva was lamenting because he and Nanda Maharaj could not live together. Yet how could they live together? Vasudeva wants all of us that even if intimately related, even if we are intimately related, We are carried away by the waves of time according to the results of past karma. Time leaves no one. 10 years, I can be together with a few people. The next 10 years, I'm in a totally different land. This happens to all of us. It is very painful, but then that is the nature of fate. That is the nature of this inevitable time. So then the another analogy that I wanted to pull up was again about this coming and meeting and separating. This is from Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu Vacha. Our Hiranyakashipu was also very brilliant. He would also quote from time to time from different scriptures. And our Hiranyakashipu, he says in 7:21, he says, Bhutanamiha samvasa prapyamiva suvarate daive naikatra nitanam munnitanam swakarmabhi. My dear mother, sometimes in a restaurant or a place for drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together, and after drinking the water, they continue in their respective destinations. Similarly, living entities also join together as a family. Sometimes they join together as a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to various destinations. And Prabhupada gives a brilliant purport to this. He says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudatma kartaham miti manyate. We are all bewildered in this world. A bewildered soul like us, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, we are thinking ourselves to be the doer. But are we the doers? Are we in control? No. Everything is carried out by Prakriti. Prakriti kriyamanani. It is carried out by material nature. All the living entities, we are acting according to the directions of Prakriti, because in the Prakriti, in this material world, we should remember that we are always under a higher control. And the very reason why we are struggling in this material world is because we want to be the controller. We want to be that Krishna, that controller, that Supreme Lord. We are also trying to lord it over, right? But we should understand that this world itself, the setup of this world is like a prison. It is actually a place of imprisonment. And sometimes, as criminal prisoners scatter as soon as their terms are over. Another analogy of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada gives. He says, as criminal prisoners scatter as soon as their terms are over and they are released, all of us who have temporarily assembled as family members will continue to our respective destinations. Another example given is that family members are like straws carried together by the waves of the river. This example we already saw. Sometimes such straws mix together in whirlpools, and later they are dispersed again by the same waves. They float alone in water. That is our condition. See, although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he had so much Vedic knowledge and understanding, and he was giving this advice to his family members when his brother Hiranyaksha was killed. So he was talking to his sister-in-law Rushabhanu and his nephews and his mother Diti Devi. He was giving them this very sound advice, Prabhupada says. It was a very sound advice. So, and he says, demons are considered highly elevated in knowledge, but because they do not use their good intelligence for the service of the Lord, they are called demons. So sometimes you'll find very intelligent demons. But what is the disadvantage? Because they are not using that intelligence in the service of the Lord. What is the use of all that intelligence? It doesn't relate to practical realization. Atapumbir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagashah swanushtasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. So this is again an instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve is by discharging his prescribed dharma according to caste divisions and orders of life, is to please Lord Hari. It is not enough if we are intelligent, we can quote all these verses, or we have a lot of shastric knowledge. All that becomes useless if these qualities are not used to please Lord Hari. To become a demigod or to become godly, whatever one's occupation may be, we must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is our business, and that is what Mahaprabhu is also doing at this point in time. Yes, he is understanding that we are all coming together and we are getting separated and everything. He's giving this knowledge also to his dear mother, so that his mother can pacify herself. But whatever he may be doing, he's doing all this. He's getting separated from his family for a higher cause. Some say there Haridosham. For the sake of Lord Hari, he's leaving everything and he's going. So this is the climax of Sri Mahaprabhu actually leaving home. It's a very, very difficult state. Devotees don't like to hear it. But then, like we heard in yesterday's class, that all this is done for a particular cause. What is that cause? To benefit all the living entities. And that was also one of the external reasons of Sri Mahaprabhu coming to this world, right? He had to give this wonderful love of God to all the living entities. He said, how many fruits can I distribute? I require all your help. Let us all together distribute these fruits. In Kunti's prayers also, we can see this mood is reflected. She was also feeling separation from Krishna at one point in time. During her prayers, she expresses her separation because Krishna was leaving Hastinapur and going to Dwaraka. And at that time, Kunti Maharani, after she witnessed the saving of her great-grandson, Parikshit Maharaj, in the womb of Uttara by the Supreme Lord, she goes running to him and she starts offering prayers. And in those prayers, she says this very, very beautiful verse. She says, oh, today you're going to leave us? She goes and asks the Lord. She says, oh, my Lord, you have executed all your duties yourself. Are you leaving us today? Though we are completely dependent on your mercy and have no one else to protect us, now when all the kings are at enmity with us, you're leaving us? She's going and asking. She goes and asks the Lord, really? Are you going to truly leave us? So she felt that she was completely dependent on the mercy of the Lord. And actually, the Pandavas and Kunti, they're considered most fortunate because they declared their dependence on the Supreme Lord. Here in Prabhupada is telling, in the material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone else is the utmost sign of misfortune. See, all of us like to be independent. Nobody likes to be dependent on somebody. We feel terrible about it. If we are dependent on someone, we want to be independent. That is the nature in this material world. In this material world, to be dependent on the mercy of someone is the utmost sign of misfortune. But in the case of a transcendental relation with the Lord, the most fortunate case is when we can be completely dependent on Him. What is true independence in the transcendental sense? Declaring our 100% dependence on the Supreme Lord. That is true independence. So, in the material world, yeah, we may think that I want to be independent, but truly we have to declare our dependence on the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, things cannot work properly and we cannot reap the mercy of the Lord. So Kunti Maharani, she goes and she stops the Lord and she feels very miserable that the Lord is leaving her. She says, if you don't look upon us with your merciful glance, what is the use of our existence? Everything will end. What is the use of me being Kunti or the Pandavas being such great kings? Everything becomes useless without your merciful glance. She says, oh Gadadhara, oh Krishna, our kingdom is now being marked by the impressions of your feet, and therefore it appears beautiful. But then if you leave, it will no longer be so. What will we do without you? All these cities and villages, they are flourishing in all respects just because of you. And all this is only because of your sidelong glance. All the natural gifts of the world are dependent on the mercy of the Lord, she says. So, Kunti Devi, she says, now don't leave us. Our existence is meaningless if you leave us. And then finally, she says this very, very beautiful verse that, yeah, you know what? Let me sever the affection. She says, Atha Vishveshva Vishvatman Vishvamurte Swakeshune Sneha Imam Chindhi. I'm so attached to the material relationships. or to the people of this world. Dhridam Pandushu Vishvrishnishu. She says, O Lord of the universe, O soul of the universe, O personality of the form of the universe, please therefore sever my tie of affection for my kinsmen, the Pandavas and Vrishnis. So why is she asking Krishna to sever her relationships? And now that Krishna is gone, at least her family members and her relationships will maintain her, right? So at this point in time, why is Srimati Kunti Devi telling that she wants to cut off the affectionate ties of her own kinsmen? For that, she answers in the very next verse. She says, I ask this because, O Lord of Madhu, त्वयि मे अनन्य विषया मतिर्मधुपते असकृत् रतिम् उद्वाहताद् आध गंगे विवाघम् उधन्वती. O Lord of Madhu, just as the Ganges forever flows into the sea without any hindrance, let my attraction be constantly drawn to you without getting diverted to anyone else. So she says, my attention should be 100% focused on you. Here Prabhupada is telling, to cut off the tie of all other affections doesn't mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is simply not possible in the material world. So when great devotees are praying like this, or when Mahaprabhu is leaving Shachimata, it doesn't mean that he wants to cut off affection with them. It's not like that. We should understand this finely. In a very fine manner, you should understand these spiritual emotions. Prabhupada so nicely, he says, to cut off the tie of other affections does not mean complete negation of the finer elements like affection for someone else. This is simply not possible. Don't think it is possible. Cut off from people. It's not possible. A living entity, however he may be, he must have the feeling of affection for others because it is a symptom of life. That is the nature. You cannot say, I don't want my family. I want to cut off from my family. Yes, she did say that. But what did she mean by that? That is mentioned in this verse. She means to say, but let my attention be on the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada is explaining that. It's a symptom of life to have affection for others. The symptoms of life, such as desire, anger, hankerings, feelings of attraction, cannot be annihilated. Otherwise, you're not a human being. Only the objective has to be changed. You have to change the objective. Yes, you continue to maintain affection towards all your family members, but where is your focus? Where is the Ganges water of your true love and affection flowing towards? That is very important. You maintain affection towards everybody, but then at the end of the day, like Srila Rupa Goswami was instructed, just like Mahaprabhu gives this analogy, he says, you have to consciously do all your duties, just like how, like a chaste wife, not chaste wife, a wife serves her husband, but then she is constantly thinking of her lover in the back of her mind, like that. You should also continue to serve. You should have affection for everybody. You should diligently perform your duty. But then that attachment is only to the Supreme Lord. Only the objective has to be changed. Desire cannot be negated, but in devotional service, the desire is changed for the service of the Lord in place of desire for sense gratification. Why? Because the so-called affection for family, society, country, etc. of different faith are simply but different phases of sense gratification. Actually, we are telling that I am attached to my family. I'm doing this for my family, that for my family, or society or country, but actually it is an extended form of your own sense gratification. For a human being, oneself is most important. One's desires to be fulfilled is the most important. One's own satisfaction is the most important. In the name of saying that we are doing it for others, we are actually satisfying ourselves, our ego, our happiness, everything. Even separation from loved ones, right? Why is there lamentation or a separation from a loved one? This might sound very cruel, but it is the truth. Okay, Shastra says so. Why are we saying that when our loved one is not with us, we are feeling immense distress? The reason is because we are not feeling that unhappiness for the person who has departed. That unhappiness is because I am suffering. I cannot do this in that person's absence. Because that person is not with me, now I have to do everything by myself. I don't get their support. It's all about me. It's all about my happiness. If we are truly worried about the person who has departed, we should be only worried about that person's soul and that person's higher destination, nothing more. If we are worried about anything else, if we are sitting and lamenting and crying, that means we're doing it only for ourselves. We are the most selfish creatures in this world, actually. We human beings are utterly selfish. Unless we all our natural emotions in the service of the Lord, it is nothing but sense gratification. That is how we are made. That is in our DNA because of this false ego. That's how we are, because we are affected by Maya. We desire only sense gratification in this world. In the name of service to family, society, and country, that is what we are doing. But then this desire is changed for the satisfaction of the Lord. Then it is called as devotional service. Because if Krishna is happy, the world becomes happy, pouring water at the root of the tree. Okay? So this is what we should learn also from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is not that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was being very cruel, or he wanted his mother to suffer. Whatever he was doing was for a higher cause. And in fact, it is mentioned, this is very interesting. You all know this very famous verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 5:5:18. Everybody quotes this verse left and right. Gurur na sasyat, swajano na sasyat, teachings of Rishabhadev. He who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, brother, a mother, or a worshipable demigod, right? In this case, you know what Mahaprabhu tells her when he leaves her? Actually, that's the next verse, but still, next speaker will also speak. Kesida Mataji will continue to speak about it. He tells her that it is my responsibility from here on to take care of you, mother. Though he's leaving her. He's leaving her, but he's telling, I will take care of you materially and spiritually. Now, here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's the maintainer of all the living entities. So, don't you think he will maintain his own mother, both materially and spiritually? He will, now at this point in time, it appears because of the bodily relationship, he is the dependent on his mother. Because here the verse says, a person should not become a father, spiritual master, husband, or mother, or a worshipable demigod if he cannot maintain his dependence. Now, it appears that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is dependent on the mother in terms of bodily relationship because he's the son and she's the mother, okay? But then we should realize that it is actually the other way around. He is the Supreme Lord and he's the maintainer of everybody. You think he won't maintain his mother? He will take very good care of his mother. That's why we see in Chaitanya and Leela, he makes this promise. He makes this promise right after this verse. He makes that promise. And you will see he'll keep up the promise as well. That from time to time he sends someone. In fact, it is his mother's order that he should serve from Jagannath Puri, and he does so. And from time to time, he keeps sending many devotees to take care of his mother, of her material needs, and he himself takes care of her spiritual needs by also coming, when she cooks for him and so on. So like this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he keeps up his promise and he takes charge of not only delivering the entire world, because that is the reason he's taking sannyas, so that he can leave his mother, he can leave his wife, and he can go and he can deliver the entire world out there. But he's not forgotten his responsibility and his duties. We have so many cases in scripture of service to parents, right? We see there are so many stories like Shravan Kumar, for example. That is a very, you can say, sort of a mundane story simply because he didn't, there is no mention of him focusing that affection on the Supreme Lord ultimately. But still, he was very dedicated to serving his parents. He had that unwavering service to his blind parents, and he took very good care. That is one example of a person who served his parents. But you can also see the example of Lord Ramchandra. Lord Ramchandra was the Supreme Lord. He took very good care of his parents and he didn't want to disobey the words of his father or his stepmother. Just because it was the order of his parents, he went and he suffered in the forest for 14 years. He had to undergo all the hardships. Even Bharat Maharaj, he goes and asks him to come back, his brother Bharata. But Ramchandra says, no, this is the order of the father, and the prime duty of the son is to obey the orders of one's father. And you all know the story of this devotee by the name Pundalik in the story of our Vitthal. There also, the highlighted story, the other day somebody was mentioning in the class, one, I think, which Prabhu was that? I forgot, in our Bhakti Sangha class. I think Sudhakar Prabhu, somebody asked a question. Isn't Vithal's story a very mundane example? I mean, especially the story of this Pundalik. For the sake of serving his parents, he made the Lord wait. But then it was clarified that that is only one side of the story. The other side of the story is that his parents were great devotees. So for the sake of Vaishnav Seva, he was even ready to make his parents wait. You also have the story of this Kaushika Brahmana and the butcher, Vyadha, Dharma Vyadha. That is another story in Shastras and Mahabharata that highlights service to one's parents. But then, if you read that story very carefully, though externally the story is about service to one's parents, it is not only service to one's parents, that Dharma Vyadha was a person who was highly righteous, and he had perfected the path of Karma Yoga, basically. Basically, all his activities he was dedicating for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. That is what this Dharma Vyada was doing. And why that story is given so much highlight? Is it so great? Is it really like bhakti? Not necessarily, but then it shows about Swadharma, that yes, you take care of your aged parents, you take care of, basically doing your duties. And at the same time, Dharma Vyada also exemplified something else. Taking care of parents is one side of the coin, but the other side is that he dedicated even his so-called family occupation, which is conducting his life by performing the activities of a butcher. He dedicated even that in the service of the Lord. Versus Kaushika Brahmana, who was the one who was questioning him. Kaushika Brahmana was a very theoretical person. He was not a practical person. In theory, he appeared to be a big Brahmin, very, very renounced, so much austerities, and because of the power of his austerities, he could pronounce curses, he could do all this. But he didn't even take care of his basic duties. He didn't take care of Swadharma, nor did he take care of Sanatana Dharma, which is service to the Supreme Lord. He didn't do both. He was only following some theoretical external austerities and things like that for his own benefit. But he did not dedicate everything to the Supreme Lord. So the principle that is put forth in these few verses of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat is that, yes, our Nimai Pandit, he is ready to take sannyas. But the reason he is taking sannyas is so that he can benefit the entire world. And when he is ready to take sannyas, it is not that he is neglecting his parents. He continues to serve his parents even after sannyas. That is the beauty. That is the beauty of Vaishnava Sampradayas. Even after sannyas, we don't disrespect anybody from the Purvashrama. Like you see, even in the Madhva sannyasis also, when they see their mother, they immediately pay obeisances. Generally, the world pays obeisances to a sannyasi. But you will see sannyasis, they pay obeisances to their mother. It is considered very, very important that even if you have moved on to a sannyas ashram, the respect that you keep for one's mother never changes. So that was also exhibited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we see that reflecting through these verses. So I'll end here. If there are any questions, comments, realizations, additions, corrections, thoughts, please go ahead. And again, I would like to apologize. Today was Madhurya Gaurangi Mataji's class, but she let me know at least an hour before, so that was very helpful to prepare. So
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Last minute class, but it was brilliant class. I know it took a lot of your time for you to prepare, but you didn't get so much of time also. But it was very nice. I really liked the point where you were mentioning about the separation from our loved and dear ones. We normally lament, but how beautifully you highlighted that actually it's our selfish nature. We lament because we are not able to conduct the responsibility that we were expecting from our loved ones. And so it's because we are keeping ourselves in the center always, that I'm not able to do this. That's why we are lamenting, but we are least bothered about the departed soul, that whether the soul has reached the right destination or not. So beautiful point it came out. And thank you, Mataji. Class was very wonderful. And as you said that, yes, even after taking sannyas, the sannyasis, they always respect their parents. Like Mahaprabhu, after taking sannyas, never met Mother Vishnu Priya, but he was in touch with Mother Sachi and he took care of Mother Sachi. So thank you, Mataji. Very, very beautiful class. Thank you so much. Thank you. All glories to your services. Hare Krishna.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, and thank you for your inspiration, Mataji. Very good.
Hare Krishna, Preethi, Vilasini, Mataji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class, Mataji. Very grateful to you for this last minute class. Mataji, I have one question. Yes, you, of course, told it in many different ways, but still I have this doubt. Please forgive me if my question is wrong. So you were saying that, once again, Mataji, you were saying that sannyasis will help mother even in the material way. That means they will provide financial help to them. Uh, can you confirm that, Mataji?
No, not financial help. That's not intended. The idea is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promises his mother that he will take care of her both materially and spiritually, in the sense that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then sent some devotees to help out his mother. Like, for example, later we read that, was it Damodar Pandit? Yeah, Damodar Pandit, right? He was
Yes.
sent to take care of Shrachi Mata, to ensure that she's, a widowed woman will need some help, right? It's not, because both of them are there. Vishnu Priya Devi is there, and Mother Shachi is there, and they will definitely need some physical help, or they will need some care, or they will need some protection that has to be offered to them. So some Vaishnavas are sent to take care of them. There was also one servant, I forget his name, who Ishan, right? Was that the name? Ishan.
Shan was there, then later Kala Krishna Das was engaged.
Kala Krishna Das went. So like this, two widowed women, all by themselves, they definitely need some care and attention. So that kind of help. It need not be financial always, okay? Because a sannyasi cannot provide financially, should not also. Then it will
Yeah,
become
that's
a offense to the sannyas ashram if they are collecting money for their family needs.
yeah,
Yes.
because materially you said that. So I know that they should not offer that financial help, but yes, moral support is always there because they are
Why
parents. So
not?
that,
Yeah, the
yeah.
word used is material only. Material need not always be financial, because the verses itself says material. It's material, worldly. You can say worldly. So vyavahara pramartha yeteka tomara sakala amate lage saba mora bhara. I will take full responsibility for both your worldly and spiritual needs. Again, it need not be financial only. Anything in this material world, there are so many needs, right, for a human being.
Yeah, but basic need would be the financial because the men of the family leave the house. Mataji is that's the financial comes from there, right? So I was like having little doubt, and my mind, material mind, always thinks about material things. So sorry for my question, but thank you for clarifying it.
A very good
It's
question. Nobody should think otherwise. So thank you for clarifying. It's a very good question.
And thank you, Mataji, for that beautiful verse of Guru Nasasyat. When I heard first time, that was really changed my mood of being a proper mother. Actually, before even I became mother, I came across to that verse, and because of that verse, whatever I'm giving Krishna consciousness to my child today, it is only because of motivation from that particular verse, Mataji. Thank you so much for quoting that verse. and also telling the importance about mother's nature, and we should never forget that what sacrifices they have done for us. Thank you so much, Mataji. They say in Kali Yuga, people generally tend to forget parents, and they don't give any support when they are in old age. That is what happening in right now in Kali Yuga. But thank you for bringing up that point, that we should never forget them, because they did everything to us. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. Hare Krishna. Neetu Mataji, you can go with your question.
Hare Krishna Mataji, beautiful class. Mataji, you mentioned that we have a three kinds of rain. The spiritual rain and Prakriti rain. What's the other two one, Mataji?
Can you repeat, Mataji? Your voice was breaking.
Let me go on the side. I'm at work. You mentioned we have a three kind of rain.
Oh,
We
Ren.
have,
Okay.
yeah.
Ren, yeah. So the three, one is Pitra Rana, which is to the ancestors or to the parents and so on. The other is to Devas or the demigods, and the other is to Rishis, which is the ones who, basically the Rishis and the Munis who have given us the scriptures.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Nathan.
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी, may I?
देखिए यहाँ पे आज
Sorry. Please unmute, Prabhu. I don't know if you got muted. Okay.
Okay, very nice class. You gave so many good examples of especially regarding our attachment to our family. This another incident I recall was when Narad Muni arrived, when Yudhishthira Maharaj was lamenting, when Dhritarashtra, I think that was in 13th chapter. Yeah, that's where.
That is actually very good. That is very practical. Thank you, Prabhu, for bringing that up. I mean, it's one of my favorite instances also. Okay, you finish telling, then I will add. I don't want to jump in when you're talking. I think you got muted again. Okay, then I will talk and then you talk, whatever works. So again, this is very instructive. When Narada Muni comes and he meets Yudhishthir Maharaj, you see, Yudhishthir's consciousness was that he was lamenting, saying that everything happened because of me. Okay, this whole war, he blames himself. He goes on a guilt ride. That time, Narada Muni corrects him, saying that this is not how you think. You're thinking everything is around you, everything is revolving around you. So he says, no, very nice, Prabhu. Actually, thank you for bringing that up. And that happens. We catch ourselves doing that guilt ride for nothing. And we think we are maintaining, we are in charge. Yudhishthira Maharaj was thinking, I am in charge of these old people. I am taking care of them. That I is so strong, even when you're trying to maintain older people, right?
So that's one very nice point. Another one, we are all selfish in the sense that, all our relatives, we are serving them and they are very dear. But it is we who are afraid that if I lose them, what I'll feel. So that's where it's another slok we say, Bhagavatam, Yetadi atur chittanam matra sparses chaya muhuhu bhava sindhu plava drasto haricharya anuvaranam. The only medicine,
yesterday's verse.
the only medicine we have is Haricharya Anuvaranam, which you are doing so nicely, Mata. Very well. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Prabhu. Beautiful examples. Actually, the first time I read that, the one that you quoted, right? That's one of my favorites because I do that a lot. I think I am taking care. I am responsible. What will they do without me?
Yes.
See, that is such a terrible egoistic thought, right? Actually, everybody, the whole world will function without us very nicely.
But not without mother. Okay, you are a mother, and I know mothers. Without mother, family cannot run. Mother is the center. Although we take it spiritually or materially, whatever way, but mother is mother, and she is our first spiritual master. He is the one who teaches us beta, Bhagavan Krishna ka naam lo. That's how it is. Thank you,
mothers. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Very nice, Prabhu.
Very well,
Who else then a gynecologist can speak so authoritatively, Prabhu? Thank you.
Lord Krishna has given all mothers very specific chemical in their anterior pituitary gland, which is known as prolactin. That prolactin is the hormone which converts a mother's blood into milk. That's not available to any males. It's only the mothers who can do that. So this is little scientific. Very well, madam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Is there anybody having any more questions or realizations? Please go ahead. There are a lot of chat comments, Mataji. This Anjali Mataji is recently joining our classes for early morning, but she happened to join our mid-morning also. She's writing a
She is
realization.
joining regularly mid-morning.
Yeah,
also.
yeah. Thank you for wonderful class. I do not know why I have started more attracted towards Chaitanya Leela. Don't want to stop hearing more and more. So grateful to Bhakti Sangha platform, highly obligated, obliged, sorry. Okay. Ishimati Mataji is also thanking for the beautiful class, Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful class.
Hare Krishna
Somebody
Mataji,
speaking?
please. Sorry, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Mataji, such a beautiful, wonderful class. And today's class, it reminds me, one time I told Kirtida Sundari Mataji about I cannot do surrender, fully surrender to Krishna because I am scared that if I loved one, I miss that. But today's class give me so much strength and so much learning that totally I cannot have any word to say anything. Totally you give a very, very nice lesson today, especially for me. It is. So now I can do everything happens by Krishna's will. So always think about Krishna and surrender to Krishna fully. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Me too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. That one particular word is a very strong word for all of us. That when we cry for the departed soul, we are not crying for them, we are crying for our selfish nature. That really struck Mataji. So, and I think this class meditative point would be that one. So when we meditate on that particular point, maybe, that will give us a strength to overcome from that sadness at that moment. Yes, Mataji, really very strong word. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
I'm also just repeating.
But someone who follows will repeat means it will go inside our heart, Mataji. Thank you so much. I really mean it. Very grateful to you, Mataji. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Yo
namo.
namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Mataji ki jai. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Koti Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
You are a mother, like.
Thank you so much for joining. So we'll end here. I'm ending the call. See you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.